justice and peace and equality.
And so therefore, they have to take all of this away. They have to take all of our rights away. And we're in the redemptive period. Let me explain something to you. Trump has no authority. Why in heaven's name can he take those things away when the Congress passed in 1964 and 1965 the voting rights and the civil rights? One person sitting in office does not have the executive authority to undo what an entire Congress and a former sitting president signed. You do not have that. They just found him a useful idiot that was signed what they put in front of him. And they stole the election and put that idiot in office. And now they are being more impacted than we are because 56% of the people on welfare are not black.
Oh, we know that. We know that.
Okay? So they are now, but now here's the problem. They've been given too many Negro preachers and Negroes some fluoride to dumb them down because we got some scared folk standing in our pulpit. How can you talk about the liberty of the Most High and you scared? How can you lead your people into great challenges and restoration and progressivism if you are scared because you don't want nobody to bother your Mercedes-Benz, your used Mercedes-Benz? If you're going to be a bad Negro, go buy a new one. Go buy one for $180,000. Don't buy one that's been on the market for 4 years and you buy it for $20,000. If you're going to be a bad Negro, go buy something.
Go buy something.
Yeah.
I got to say this, and you know, I got to mention it. When I pulled up, and, you know, I was letting you know I was here, your assistant, the young lady, I came in and she mentioned, she said, oh, the doors are open.
They stay open.
We always leave. So the doors are open. The doors stay open here.
Do you know who take care of us? See, we in the hood.
All the way in the hood.
And we got a food bank and clothing closet across the street. One day, we kept that locked because we just didn't want them to open and get all the food. But one day, we found out that the microwave had been stolen out of the food bank.
Okay.
I didn't get mad. I didn't call the police. I went up on the street, talked with the guys up there, because I go up there often and talk with them.
Right.
And I said, you know, somebody broke into the food bank and stole the microwave. They said, what, out of Macedonia? I said, yeah. He said, okay. 45 minutes later, the microwave was on the front porch of the parsonage.
Oh, wow.
Because Macedonia loved the people. See, the church must have a good rapport and reputation of those who are without. And every Sunday morning when we used to have church on Sunday, we would have a breakfast, the entire community came. We didn't force them to come to Sunday school. We didn't force them to come into worship. Come and eat and celebrate.
Right.
And so the church has become an ecclesiastical elitist organization that is void of the spirit of the Most High. Because if you don't love the people, God ain't gonna ask you, did you have a good worship service? Did you have a good attendance? When you get to the judgment seat, when I was hungry, did you feed me? When I was a stranger, did you take me in? When I was naked, did you clothe me?
I mean, you got people paying tithes and offering in churches right now, and people who don't in the churches has to get back with them and say, they have to go through these reports and all this stuff and say, okay, let us see if we can help you. Let us see if you went and asked somebody else. Like
we have food right there at the back door. We got food right there at the back door. We got what you call them? MREs. We got MREs right there at the door. Folk come in here at 3 o'clock in the morning because somebody's hungry and they get one of those to eat. They don't take all of them. They get what they need. Because when I was hungry, you fed me. When I was thirsty, you gave me water. When I was a stranger, you took me in. When I was naked, you clothed me. When I was sick, you visited me. When I was in prison, you came unto me. Now, let me explain something to you. You're talking about the controlling of the penis and the manpower. Georgia has the highest prison population per capita than any state in the United States. It has slightly less than Texas. The reason being is that, take this, and I posed this at a conference one day, and I posed this in a conversation of folk who talked. Why is it that Georgia has more prisoners and prisons than anywhere? Well, let's go back and look at the name. Georgia, named after King George. And King George, in 8th grade Georgia history, required that the people who he gave the authority, he gave the land, how in the heck you go be over in England, you own something in America, but you give them Georgia, they name it Georgia, but they are required to clear the prisons of Great Britain. They had to bring all of the prisoners from Great Britain and brought them to America, gave them land. So, and then you also at the same time, you take the kings and the queens of Israel and you put the kings and queens of Israel under the former prisoners of Great Britain. And the only way the prisoner knows how to control a king is lock him up.
Wow.
And one generation teaches the next generation. They're about to build a 3,000 bed prison in Glenville, Georgia. They come to the second wave, find out how many Negroes are there to know how much it's going to take to build a prison because they have us designed to go into prisons.
Man.
Now, what the Trump administration is doing is exactly on course for what the satanic powers and the conservative movement, they're all about Satan. They're Edomites. The Edomites hate Israel because Israel, being God's chosen people, will stand in judgments against Satan and his fallen angels. Satan is the God of this world. The Most High gave him that, gave him time to rule.
Right.
90% of the fallen angels are in hell. 10% of these demons are running around here trying to impact the world. Wow. So the fact that they can control Trump, it's nothing. I want you to look very clearly for the folk who will watch the State of the Union. I don't know if there's one ever said don't watch it. You better watch what the enemy does. The Bible says, and I ain't got no problem with what, I know Roland Martin got an alternative, but you need to watch what he's saying. Because Yeshua says, watch and pray that you enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. Now, we've had a march down here against DEI and all of those institutions, and now Pastor Brian has done an excellent job with Target.
Okay.
But what I want us to recognize is that boycotts must be measurable. That's why I'm encouraging every community to create their own system and boycott everybody who is not in favor of the actualization of freedom and liberation in our communities. Cut the money out. I'll never forget my good friend, Dr. John Marshall, first doctor in Georgia that died from COVID-19, helping somebody, helping him to the car. Didn't know he had COVID. That's when the testing took so long. He died himself of COVID. Dr. Marshall, president of NAACP in Americas. We did something back in the 90s. And Dr. Marshall, I can show you that tape. Dr. Marshall, we had a church filled. Bethesda seated 750 people. We had 850 people in there. Dr. Marshall said, as I announced that we were launching a boycott, Dr. Marshall says, they're sucking on our breast for sustenance. But what we got to do is take that breast away and cut the milk off.